Hello, Internet. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope y'all are having a great weekend so far. Welcome back to the stream. Hope everyone is excited. It is time. We took last week off because I needed to get some stuff done around the house. I did get all of it done, but I technically only got 75% of it done because one of the things I was trying to hang up did not stay, so I'm gonna have to redo that at some point after I figure out how I'm gonna get it to stick. So, anyway, yeah, I had a productive last weekend. I think it was good to just take a break between games so I could take that time to digest everything that happened. And yeah, now I can come back to this fresh, excited. I'm ready. Hope y'all are ready. It'll be fun. We're gonna be playing a new character who is not Phoenix Wright. Full disclosure, I have played this game once before, but many, like the original games, many years ago. I don't remember shit. I do remember that we're gonna be playing as Apollo, not Phoenix, and then I think there was like some shenanigans up with Phoenix, and I don't remember what was going on. But yeah, so it'll be a whole similar but different experience. Let's put it that way. Alright. Well, I'm ready. So let's pause this Steel Samurai music. And let's go into the game. Let's do this. Ready? Ooh, episode select. Oh, wait, hold on. I should probably look at the settings, right? I think the volume's good. I don't know. We can always fix it later. Yep, that looks good. Alright, good enough. Let's do this. Let's go! Episode 1, Turnabout Trump. This is Apollo, and this is what he looks like. He will be our MC for at least this game. I don't remember if he's the MC in the next two games. I don't think I played the next two. I think this is as far as I got, but we'll see. It's possible I might have played one of them. I definitely didn't play both of them. Let's do it! Episode 1, Turnabout Trump. Ooh, art. I love me some art. Oh. Blowing out the candle? Maybe I should light my candle. Alright, music seems a little loud. Showtime. We'll adjust it. You lose. Ah! You hitting him with the wine bottle? Or is it, maybe it's just beer. Hey Chickaboo, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good weekend. There's always with the murder in this game. I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. April 20th, 9:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Alright, hold up. How do I... Ooh, look at all the stuff I can look at. That's not what I was intending to do. The BGM's actually pretty darn loud, so we're gonna turn that down a little bit. It was really loud. Okay. Hopefully that'll be fine. Oops, how do I get out of this? No, wait, not return to title. No, there we go. Simpler than I thought. Alright, let's look at what we got. This is our attorney's badge. How long did I yearn for one of these? Just putting it on makes me feel ready. Ooh, I can check it too? Nice. I'm glad they kept this. This mechanic of being able to examine shit in more detail. There's a number inscribed on the back of the badge. There are many numbers like it, but this one is mine. Proof that I'm an attorney. To tell the truth, I get a happy feeling inside just looking at it. Oh, Apollo, you pure-hearted boy. Alright, what do we got? Smith's autopsy report received during the preliminary hearing. The time of death was around 2 a.m., April 17th. Death caused by a single blow to the forehead. Victim's name, Shady Smith. Okay. Male. April 17th, estimated time of death, April 17th, between 1:45 a.m. and 2:15 a.m. Alright, got a half-hour window there. Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from blunt trauma to forehead. Okay. We've got photographs received during the preliminary hearing. The sub-basement at the Borscht Bowl Club. Touch the check button. Let's do that. Chips, cards. They're definitely playing a game. Probably poker. He had 2 aces. And he's a dead man. Wait. Ooh. Christoph Gavin, boss at Gavin Law Offices. A first-rate defense attorney and my trusted mentor. Neat. Mystery person. My first client. Just standing in front of this guy makes me nervous. Oh no. Shady Smith, the victim in this case, a traveler, only recently back in the country. Alright, that's all we got. Alright, let's do this. Panicked. Palms sweaty. I can't admit it. I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Oh, this is Gavin. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. What? Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial, and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine! I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech. Wow. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir! I'm all over that drift! As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir! One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course. And so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Whoa! See this? This look familiar to anybody? Good, morning! Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial? Nervous? Meaning him? Cardiac arrest? I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So, you're... Fine! I'm fine! Ah, Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney. And he's your friend, so why... You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, It's time, shall we? Yes, sir! Okay, I need to focus. First trial, here comes justice. April 20th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 2. Oh, it's Payne again! The court is now in session. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor! The defense is, fine. Ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late. Your name was Mr. Justice, and this is your first trial. Yes, Your Honor, but I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes, and my client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice, but to entrust his case to this greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, but does he have the cords of steel? Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. Do we not even know his name at this point? This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. That's Phoenix. I knew it! He's definitely older, seen better days. Why does he look like a hobo? That's the question here. Hobo Phoenix, also known as Naru Hobo. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further, then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne. To think I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains! Winston Payne. Subtle as ever, I see. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him. Wham! On the head. Smack! Killed him cold. A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was? Pianist for the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright, a pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice. That's clearly wine, but okay, I guess we're censoring this for the kids. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. Naru Hobo became a wino. Alright, the court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Deadly bottle out of the court record. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record, right. I've heard of that. Use the court record button in the upper right to look at the evidence so far. Grape juice bottle used as the murder weapon bears the defendant Mr. Wright's prints. Grape juice? How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently, it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. Wonder how well it goes with borscht. We're looking at the back? Okay. The bottle is completely empty. Completely empty. Super totally very empty. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, the court record button. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. Already looked at it. So, the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow?
We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor.
Traveler?
According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear.
And he had some sort of connection with the defendant?
That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Boat Club on the night of the crime.
If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing?
That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill.
Rude.
At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself.
Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal.
That was you? Objection! That's him. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in the pure sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, and know its final outcome. Come again?
Cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense is waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present. And impress women.
That'll be our first order of business here, then. To find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. Straight into Hobo Phoenix. The only thing I remember about this game. The competition. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game. And our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano?
Better than a defense attorney you can't defend.
Beat you, Rudo. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it. Don't blow it. This is still kind of loud. Hold up. Making some adjustments as we go, guys. I'm like, I see it going in the yellow, so... Alright, here we go. Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course in cross-examination? Nah, I'm good. No need for help here, sir. I think I've got this one covered. I think you'd better do more than think. You know it. Or you do not. I'm fine. The cords of steel are ready for battle. My weapons, press and present. Find any inconsistencies and lies in the testimony and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies? Lies? Phoenix, right? As if Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. The defense may begin the cross-examination. The competition. Pianist by trade, but he doesn't play good. Not a good pianist. You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes, when customers demand it. So I play them one song. That's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title pianist is a mask, a respectable face I wear for the world at large. And why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club? Take on interested customers to the poker table. They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am a professional, after all.
Ah! Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine.
Yes. Your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston.
What?
I played poker for 7 years in that little room. And I've never lost once.
What?
Oh, sorry. Whoops. Sorry. Apollo. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw.
Wait,
you never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once? Is that even possible? Room where we play in the competition are the club's main attractions. The room in the crime photo is an attraction? Has quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. Smoky room, gambling hoods. You know, just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals, safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through the small window. Oh! Small window, I see. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all good, clean fun. Play a game using 2 decks of cards. 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. Ah, interesting. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table Cards on the table, cards on the floor, each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we use 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards is red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker you make 5-card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. This competition you're talking about, I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right. It was a simple game after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment that the crime occurred, yet you claim no connection to the crime. Now that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? But there's something I'd like to make clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. And I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well, the defendant will amend his testimony. Just one little press. And I've got myself a whole new testimony. I plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Okay. That's all it is, a game, and our customers are happy. I don't think we pressed this one yet. So, you claim you weren't gambling? That's right. It was simply a game. You didn't bet any money? Not even a little? The only thing at stake in our game was pride itself. Oh-ho! Well put, Mr. Wright. I've got a mind to play a hand of poker myself. The stakes? Your fate. Can we get back to the trial now? Plead silence regarding the murder, never touch the murder weapon, but your prints are all over it. Are we gonna have to present there? We might have to present there. Silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage! And it's your job to turn that around in our favor, yes? Great. Like I didn't have enough to do already. Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony? Huh? Wait, something you said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing. Now what was it? When you figure it out, I'd suggest presenting evidence. Evidence that contradicts the testimony. A contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony? But why? I'd better check out the court record. I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to be jumping to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press. Right. I got it. I'm fine. Time to listen to that testimony again. Yep. Follow justice. Totally fine. We're totally fine. You never touched the murder weapon, but your prints are all over it. Ready? Objection! So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon, this grape juice bottle? Right? So I said. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? Oh, goddammit, Payne.
Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
What's this, Mr. Payne?
I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Anx's yelling can damage the judge's ears in our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove that.
Hell, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh?
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
Son of a... That's the angle you need to be holding the bottle at to whack someone over the head with a bottle. Okay, so I probably should have said this out loud, but like when we saw fingerprints on the bottle, the first question in my head was like, what direction are the fingerprints? Because that's gonna come up. I'm sure that's gonna matter. And here we are, working against us. Damn it. Alright. It's fine. We got this. Upside down? What does that mean?
It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can be only one reason for that. Bam. Yes. To brain someone with a bottle. Ah!
Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse. Oh, I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
It's probably not what you think. Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright. But still,
why the fuck would the murderer report himself? That's fucking you know what? Never mind, I take it back. I played Among Us. That's just a tactic you use sometimes. Never mind, take it back. Really?
Yes. Well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at a diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from the ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
I see. And this is the phone that made the call. Phoenix! Buddy. Pal. It's been how many years and you're still using the same damn brick phone? I haven't had one of these in years, my man. Been so long. Replace your phone. Right cell phone. Submitted, added to the court record. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. Can I looky-loo? Ooh, what's this? Wow, the batteries are held in with a piece of tape. Phoenix, buy a new phone. Then again, he didn't have a lot of money. And Maya spent a lot of the money that he did get on food. He should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it. Or he just doesn't care. Damn. Maybe. Maybe he don't care. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he's being uncooperative? Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment that the crime occurred. I just watched my camera freeze. Son of a fish. Why you gotta be... Alright, we're gonna like... That's like an unflattering picture right there. Hold up. Hold up. Let's fix it first. Fixing it. Watched it crash in real time. I don't know why it's been doing... Oh, you know what? The camera program needs an update. That might be what happened. Hopefully the update will fix it. But anyway, hi. Sorry about that. How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are.
So someone else was in the room the night of the crime? That must mean they witnessed the crime, or they're probably the murderer. Everything up till now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. Oh, little girl! She can't be the murderer, can she? Shit, I don't know anymore.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness?
I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns.
You making fun of my bangs? Back off, Payne. You're just jealous because you don't got hair. So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor?
Well, if you are sure it is okay.
Now, the prosecution... Whoa, wait a minute! Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia?
Yes. She's a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade.
And that would be?
My name is Olga Early.
Olga Early? This just reminds me of that old thing with the owl. It's a really old meme. It's like an owl and he like turns his head and he goes, oh really? Olga Orly? Or I really want to say Olga O'Reilly because of that, but I know that can't be right. Olga Orly, Olga Orly. This life's... Forget it, it's fine.
I am employed as a waitress in Borscht Bowl Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht that is naming restaurant. But I also perform, how it is said, other service.
You think it is O'Reilly? Oh no. Oh no. Maybe it is. By the way, hi Dio, how's your weekend? I take it one of these other services is taking the customers' pictures. Yeah, like for birthdays and shit, right?
Like, for example, this one.
Yep, that's us talking. I mean, we never said we didn't talk. Oh yeah, there's all these wine bottles down here. We probably definitely, like, reached down and, like, grabbed it to pull one out and maybe give it to the man, but... Hunting with husband, listening to murder with me? Very nice. There's always murder. Even that one time we thought, there's no murder, it's just like a heist. We finally got a thievery case. Nope, still murder. We got debated. Always murder. That's the defendant?
Indeed, on the night of the murder. Man in white hat. Here is one who has gone kaput.
I mean, nothing about this is suspicious because we already established that, yeah, they were both there. And yeah, he probably talked to Phoenix because they went to go play a game downstairs, a poker. So, I mean, that requires them talking to each other. Why are we concerned about this? Indeed, that is the victim. Order! Order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop in our laps.
It is same way as I drop cold balls of burst on laps of customers. Casually.
Then the court will casually accept this new evidence. Thanks. Olga's photo added to the court record. Hold up. We gotta look at it. The defendant and Mr. Smith at the Borscht Bowl Club touched the check button. I mean, yeah, there's all the bottles. It'd be pretty damn easy for him to just touch one by accident. Phoenix is a wino and a hobo. That's what we've established so far.
Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder? I was in room. A hideout, we call it.
Excuse me? The hideout?
It is room where famous gangster Bad Guy was arrested.
Just looking at the way they spelled bad guy, and it's obviously bad guy, but you know, just a little different. Just, alright.
Is room where murder took place. What? You look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post by courtroom door later for you. Da! Photos will be numbered, and you will write which ones you want copy of.
So, there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime? The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and... Olga O'Reilly? Our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means... Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events. That fateful night.
That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. Da! The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on locket at his neck. Then, last hand is done. But something terrible has happened. Da! That man flew at victim. They're strangling him to death.
Are you covering for the murderer? Who's the actual murderer? The owner? Rude. Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
Paula's voice is funny. That's ridiculous! Because Mr. Wright can't lose! Justice. Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection. But he hadn't lost in 7 years!
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case my first 7 years as a prosecutor, either.
But you're really bad. How?
Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are the poker chips as they lay the very moment of the crime.
They used 2 decks of cards. How can we... I don't know.
The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
Duh! I mean, yes! Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army and the chips are the spoils.
I know that. After all, in my youth I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3. I think he meant poker face. Looking at this picture, it does seem that Most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. Chip photo, okay. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Why is this one in black and white? The other two are in color, so why is this one in black and white? That's so weird. I've got questions. Cross-examination time. She was asked to deal the cards, okay. You were dealing cards. Do you do this often?
I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Borscht, cards, more borscht. It is my work.
It's good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service.
Welcome you to Borscht Bowl Club, where borscht is as warm as the waitresses.
Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. It was cold, and they played with their hats on. It's already April. How could it be cold?
At Borscht Bowl Club, we have pride on authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it is city in spring, but inside it is always as cold as Mother Russia.
Wow, that's commitment. No way am I going there.
When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, da?
So he played the whole time with his hand on the locket on his neck. His locket? I need to look at some shit. Isn't Phoenix wearing the locket right now? That's gonna come back and bite us in the ass for sure. I was like, why does Phoenix have some bling on? That's kind of weird. I should say these things out loud when I'm thinking them. I was just like, Phoenix, why are you wearing some bling? You can see the chain for it right there, too. Oh, but it's a different chain here. Well, that's interesting.
I believe it was good luck charm, nah? He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift. The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about, not a rocket. I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket? Of course! I knew that! It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that. No, a locket's a locket. They just kind of auto-scrolled that away. It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding.
So, what happened next? Then, last time this...
Oh, sorry, we read this already. My bad. And then we're done, and then something terrible happened. Something terrible? Defense will refrain from needless shouting. Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing.
Now, Miss O'Reilly, can you tell us what happened? Oh, I was so frightened. I trembled with fear.
The man flew at the victim, strangling him. But the defendant would never do such a thing!
Eek!
Well now, I can't say I've ever heard the defense try this tactic. If possible, please refrain from embarrassing me. Still, why would anyone do something like this over a game of poker?
Perhaps it is because defendant has lost game? Yes, a crushing defeat for a man undefeated. So it always is with men like him. Winners make sore losers. Oh, how the mighty fall.
Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir. Leave it to me. There were only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and... if Mr. Wright isn't the killer... got you now, really. It does... okay, so in this scenario, Phoenix did lose. But... the spread of the cards doesn't match? Unless they got moved. I can't be the only one who sees that, right? The spread of the cards is different because the aces were supposed to be over here. But instead the 7s are over here. Interesting. And there's no locket in the crime photo. Alright, so they asked her to deal the cards. It was cold. Victim plays with his hands on the locket at his neck. First we save. No, we're gonna keep playing. I guess we should probably bring up the fact that he's not wearing the locket in the crime photo, so where did the locket go? And then we're gonna point out that Phoenix is wearing it. And then we're gonna be in a shit ton of trouble! But we gotta address this, so... hopefully this is it. Nope, that wasn't it. Alright. That statement contradicts the evidence. It does. I don't see anything contradictory. Are you sure about that? Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Justice. I did think about it! He's not wearing the locket in the crime photo. What locket? Okay. Something terrible's happened. That man flew the victim, strangling him to death. Victim Shmi Smith, Mr. Wright, and her. If Mr. Wright isn't the killer, then it has to be her. They asked her to deal the cards. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. I mean, they are both wearing hats. Oh wait, hold on. That man flew at the victim and is strangling him to death. He wasn't strangled to death. He was hit by the bottle. Yeah, that's wrong. Okay, sorry. I kind of skipped ahead. I'm sure we'll get to the locket thing eventually. Ready? Objection! Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd.
Duh, normal customers only choke on borscht.
No, I mean, this report shows the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss O'Reilly, really now, did you witness the crime?
Heek!
Damn, she got skills. Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything, but not the locket.
Yet it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation.
Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. Can I? But, okay. So, that was definitely a lot of blood on his forehead, but there's... this thing is fucking clean as a whistle. Prime photo 2 added to the court record. Alright, I need to look at this. Photo of forehead, hat removed during investigation. I mean, yeah, he definitely was hit, but there's no blood on the weapon. And there's usually when you smack someone with something and they start bleeding, there's gonna... You get a little blood, a little skin, a little something on the murder weapon. Did they check it? Also, locket's gone.
But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck.
Oh, really, Miss O'Reilly? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I found a contradiction! There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too. Asked her to deal cards, cold. Plays with his hand on the locket at his neck. Something terrible happened.
After the defendant tried to strangle victim, he hit him with a bottle.
You're gonna be RPing while listening? Nice, have fun. Hi, Dr. Lupin. How's your weekend? You didn't say anything about hitting before.
So sorry. I must be forgetting the star.
Witness, you will take greater care with your testimony.
Oh, da. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Been good? Feeling better? Good. No more colds. Colds are bad. Don't go to Borscht Restaurant where they make it feel like Mother Russia.
And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant made to strangle his victim, then changed his mind, and chose a simpler, blunter means to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely.
So he strangled him, then hit him? Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead, I believe you know what it is you need to do. Alright, sir, leave it to me. Now can we do the locket thing? Now is it time for the locket thing? Objection! We're gonna get ourselves in trouble for doing this, you know that? You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean? I know what it means. Phoenix took the locket. Why did he take the locket? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Yeah, Apollo, you're supposed to say something after you yell objection. Out loud. For the class. Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on his locket at his neck, I believe she said.
I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar.
No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? Don't look at Phoenix. If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Ah! Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Damn it, Phoenix! Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh, you mean this? God damn it, Phoenix. Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Ooh, we just dropped that bombshell on you, didn't we? Come again? Okay, I do remember that much. I do remember who the daughter is. Don't quite remember how and why that happened. So, most of this game, 99% of this, I don't remember shit. Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
Why does he look so spaced out? Phoenix Hobo is definitely super hobo right now. Mr. Hobo Wino. So, Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Yeah, we can't see his front. It is a different chain. Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost. Badly.
What are you not telling us? Miss O'Reilly, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. Serious competition. Very serious.
The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, was the victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on the table and lose. The moment loss is decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
Jerk. Ah, how many times have I heard these words? I'd done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I'd done. A common tale, but true. He thinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. What if it's flipped? What if they were sitting on the other side of the table and then shit got set up? Alright, 3,500 chips for each man. Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used? There's a cat here. Hello, cat. Oh, hold on. Camera got moved. Beep. There we go. Now you see the boy. How the fuck did the camera get moved? I know! Look at you! You're so cute and you're interrupting the stream again! It's your favorite pastime! Alright. Oh my god. Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be... exactly 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. Come in two sizes, small and large. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 10. There's 10 of these, and 2, 4, 6. I feel like this isn't gonna math up well. Something's gonna be wrong here. Hey, Chirico. Sit your ass down. There we go. Don't mute me. You did that before. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used?
Of course!
Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Yeah! I need to know the denominations for each chip, please. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips.
Explain? What is there to be explained?
Oh god, he's even worse than I remember.
Poker chips are poker chips! They're not fish and chips! Not a chip off the old block! Not a motorcycle cop in it!
Thanks. Beep, there we go. Now that I've pressed her, I'd better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even?
Yet, as I have been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. 2 types of chip. 100-point chip and 1,000 points chip.
That really... Alright, so... That's very wrong. So, we've got a total of 10 black and 6 red, so... That means this was a 10,600 point game, not a 7,000 point game. And each person would have been starting off with 5 and 3. Not 3 and 5. Oh... Unless they want to say that it's the other way around. But then he would have more money. Yeah, the value of the chips is going to be what matters here. This side has less money but has the winning hand.
It is not money, duh.
Justice. Sir! Didn't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself. Well, does the defense want the witness to add to her testimony? Yeah, add it. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well, witness, if you would be so kind.
Ah, Your Honor.
Alright. What?
One kind of chip is worth 100 points. Other kind is worth 1,000. 2 kinds in all.
Mr. Gavin said that this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why. Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. We are not in kindergarten. Sorry, I'm fine. I gotta think of something to ask. And quick. The 2 types of chips.
Huh?
The small ones are 100 and the big ones 1,000? Right? Right, of course.
Ha! Don't waste our time.
Is that all? Yeah. Right, Mr. Gavin made me stop her and now I'm the one who looks dumb. Oh, Justice. Please try not to embarrass me like that. Huh? Who? Me? There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on. Try it. We're not in kindergarten after all. Calculation? She says it was the victim who was winning. You're telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing?
That must have been most unlucky day for him. I am glad I did not take picture of him. It would break camera, certainly. The chips, they went always to the victim side of the table.
So you're telling us it was a one-sided game?
No, one-sided and...
Played with all chips on the table and lost. Is what she's saying. Last hand?
It was the largest point of any hand. The defendant's hand, it was excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from behind.
Oh shit, my camera froze again. 1 second, guys. Refresh. There we go. It appears that both the defendant and the victim's hands are in this picture. That is truly an excellent hand, however, so is the victim's.
One with highest number wins, and so defendant loses.
The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I believe that explains what occurred next.
Once cards laid down on table, it happened.
And then the moment the loss is decided, that's when the thing happened. And what happened next?
Even to think of it now, I shake and tremble. I did not believe such thing would happen.
What such thing?
Please, you must believe. I had no idea. How could such thing occur?
What such thing?
Yet. The defendant has been hitting the victim. I saw it all happen right before me. I saw bottle coming down on victim's head.
Decisive, isn't it, Your Honor? My witness saw the very moment of the crime.
Remember, your first goal is to gather information. Yes, sir. Look out, contradiction, here comes justice. One with the victim for last hand. Okay. I think this was the one that we added. The one, what kind of chip was what. Anyway. I don't know if we present it here or the other statement, but we'll try it here first. Objection! You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure?
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won. You're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course, duh.
Oh, I thought so too, but then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, my calculations are correct. Let's see, 3 plus 1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points, and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up...
How much is it?
Do it yourself! You're in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Starting points are wrong, chip count was wrong. No, both were right. But the values were different. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can be only one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips are worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness! Utter madness!
Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. I did! I'm a smarty pants sometimes. Except when I'm being dumb. Don't worry about it. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing at all.
Indeed, and the victim did have the larger number of chips still. Nah, dude, you gotta think about value. Value! Ah! Exactly. If the small chips are worth 1,000 points and the large chips are worth 100, let's do a little math and add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points and the defendant 4,100 points. Who would have thought? Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all. Hey, welcome back, 21 Snakes. Hope you're having a great weekend. We're doing math.
That's impossible!
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning!
Yarg!
This game's so good. I know, I'm so excited. I remember very little. I remember that Phoenix was a hobo. That's about it. Now, Miss O'Reilly, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you? Has some of the best music. Listen to the objection theme playing. Yeah, I know, the music in here is really, really good. Very good. Excellent, even.
Eek!
Again, that skills. Catching that shit, high praise for that. Even if she's sus as hell, but good. That's very skillful. Order! Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves that... Excuse me? What is it, Miss O'Reilly?
I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
See what, Miss O'Reilly? What do we see?
Cat's trying to remind me that they want to eat.
in the last hand, there was cheat.
Cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same thing.
Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are.
Great. Just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Paul is easily your favorite protagonist. He's very excitable, I will say that much. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. Such a smartass, nice. For the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. The final hand.
The last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed.
I don't know. Wait, hold on. Oh, that's a 2. I don't know. Paul is surprisingly straightforward with his observations, which is good. He's confident, if not a little foolhardy. Good to know.
He took battle in hand. Poor Mr. Smith.
Miss O'Reilly. Why? Oh, sorry, wrong voice. Miss O'Reilly, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. Full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience. You sucked at this because you know nothing about poker? I know enough to tell that those were full houses and that the other side was winning.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Kevin? What's a full house?
Liars these days, you don't know your poker.
I can't say this bodes well for your case or career.
Was this some kind of secret court poker ring?
Justice, you know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now, picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house.
Doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Wow, they both have full houses.
We forget there's an easy way to make a full house. And go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
How dare you say that Phoenix was cheating? The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? They both cheated. One just out-cheated the other. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Both men had...
Oh, the last hand, both men had full house.
Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway?
It is quite hard. It is making a pair and a 3 of a kind at the same time.
Yes, that's right. Very difficult, to be sure. You can take my word as the poker head of courtroom number 3.
Very difficult, but it is not impossible.
Okay. Full house? Hard. This line of questioning? Waste of time. 4 of each card in a deck. Yep, we know that. 4 of each card, you say?
There is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons.
Huh, you don't say. Actually, I didn't know that. Ah, did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Add all the cards in a deck and you get 364 in a year. Huh? You don't say. Isn't that 1 day short?
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. I say the second joker stands for the leap year.
Whoa, I'm learning shit. This is educational, guys.
Thus, you have a perfect representation of the year, all in a deck of cards.
Huh, you don't say. We're gonna be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this. Educational video games. Alright, if we look at their hands, the cheat's more obvious. How was it clear?
Well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace.
A 5th ace? Excuse me?
I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces.
That's not what's in the photo.
And Mr. Wright's too.
Obviously, cheating was afoot, or perhaps I should say, a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please.
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's too. It is 5 aces in all.
A 5th ace? Hey, did you know ace is also a dog?
It should not exist, no? I still remember both hands very well.
We already went over this. Mr. Smith had 3 and Phoenix had 2. Well, where did this card come from then?
Perhaps we should ask the defendant that very question. Adding cards to a deck is no less serious a taboo than...
Ace attorney. Oh, ooh, oh, they got me. Oh, they got me. Oh. I'm gonna pour my tea real quick. That one hurt a little. That hurt a little.
Then forging evidence in a court of law.
Now, perhaps it's time for you to say something, Justice. You bet I've no intention of staying quiet. Not me. No, sir. I better find some contradicting evidence fast. And don't worry, we know where we're going with this. We're just gonna press everything first. And then it becomes an argument. Do you recall what the men were arguing about?
I believe so. The victim, he shouts, "You are a cheater," and then the defendant shouts something like, "I have objection."
Shouting objection, eh? Old habits are hard to break. First he bluffed his way through the courtroom, now he bluffs his way through life.
Rude. However, Mr. Wright lost the hand. That seems to cast shadow of doubt on Mr. Smith.
Humiliation from losing even when cheating. That is what set fire to defendant's heart.
So, what did the flaming defendant do next? He took the bottle and then...
Poor Mr. Smith.
By bottle, are you referring to this?
The defendant uses this bottle to...
He was a flaming hobo. Flaming.
This behavior is an admission of cheating by the defendant.
But why is a grape juice bottle?
You'd be surprised at what can be used as a weapon.
This juice is recommended drink of Bosch Boat Club. This year's vintage is remarkable for its hefty flavor.
You like the voice I'm using for Kristoff? You could never figure out how to imagine his voice. I started as one thing, and then I changed it after I heard him say objection, and I was like, little stuck up. Got it. I know, Kat. I know. Don't mute me. No, get away from the mic. Thank you. Hefty enough to brain a grown man, apparently. First she says it was a serious competition. Now she says there was cheating? Justice, notice anything odd? Her testimony keeps changing. Now she says the defendant cheated. Actually, yes, I had noticed that. Let's get the truth about this cheating first, shall we? Right, leave it to me. Both of them had a full house. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. Yeah, that's wrong. Ready? Objection! It appears the witness is mistaken.
Mistaken? But my name...
Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point are we pointing to? Miss O'Reilly, in your testimony you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand held only 2 aces.
Heek! Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please! It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. Cards? Mr. Payne.
Yes?
The player's hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? If the cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? The victim's hand, because that's the one that changed? It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Received evidence, victim's hand. Well, time's a-wasting. Get to it, Justice. Alrighty. Victim Smith's hand was left at the scene. Full house. Yep, one of these cards is not like the other. Only one of the cards is a blue back. I'm much more of a red guy myself. Blue is so... not red, you know? So, okay, ironically, think about this for a second. Just slight derailing. Apollo's red, but Phoenix was blue. I thought that was funny. Yes, sir. Oh, they're gonna make you check it. I checked it myself. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the dials on the evidence viewer. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. What? Your Honor, look at this! One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color.
That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Heck!
But it's one of the kings. What was that, Miss O'Reilly?
No, yet! I merely said, I have... Eek!
Your Honor. Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say? The dealer. Wait, so you mean... this witness, Miss O'Reilly... she's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager.
Yeah!
Skills! Order! Order! Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, her mistake! Apollo, please. Foot, mouth. Stop that. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. She catches the plates with her eyes closed too. Damn, that's super skilled.
That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand.
Ergo, Miss Olga O'Reilly conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Ooh, check out that new music. That's so good. Damn.
Ooh!
Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly! And therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
What?
Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means... I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, of murder. Heek! Oh, she passed out. Bye! Bye, Nara. Damn, she threw that up in the air so perfectly that it all landed just fine. Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly?
It appears she has lost, consciousness, Your Honor.
My name is Fine, and I'm Apollo Justice. Yep. Mr. Justice? Your Honor? It seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means? This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
Damn, is this our first time we did a first trial and it didn't end in one go? That's impressive. I did it, I held out! I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Phoenix! What are you doing? I know it was you, what the fuck? Mr. Wright? Can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Not wrong. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. Why is the judge so shiny? I don't know.
How was said before!
The 2 decks of the clubs have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. If you use different colors and they still got mixed up, we used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you are using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever. In the end, one card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating.
Yes, a card slipped into a deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Ooh.
Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped.
Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? I'm gonna go with after because Olga was insisting that there were 5 aces, and if it was swapped after, that would explain why that got changed. So that they wouldn't look into the cheating thing. Perhaps it happened after the murder?
What's that? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly!
I don't know how I'm ever going to do a voice for Apollo. He's just going to get the normal voice. Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh, even when the back of the cards are a different color? Yeah, his voice would just be screaming. I'm not gonna do that. Then we wouldn't be able to play for very long. If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah. Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga O'Reilly. Okay, so... who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? Well, not Olga, because she clearly didn't know what the fuck about it. I don't know what the point of saying that it was Phoenix would be. Are we saying that there was someone else there? The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga O'Reilly either. What are you suggesting? It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss O'Reilly at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking of how much fun all this is.
Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor.
You just finished the 5th game today? Nice, congrats.
If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Mrs. O'Reilly, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it? Precisely.
Huh?
I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made 2 critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know that the 2 colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, the person replaced the 5th ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
What? There's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials. Ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. Suppose that is a problem, yes? Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. It's quite the turnabout. God damn it. Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes. April 20th, 11:52 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well, now, I think you would like to know the answer. Sorry, hold on. Let me restart. Well, now, I think you would know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I've no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. One of the better first cases you couldn't enjoy it because you didn't understand shit. That's fair. If you don't know poker, you're just gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. See if it mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice? Yes, sir! The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear. Is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Ah, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket? Here, you can take a look at it. There's a picture of my daughter in there. Oh, look at her, she's so cute! I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago. What I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never! Honest, but... It is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards out all night and still win. Poker. Huh? See, poker's all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Master bluffer like Phoenix would be disgusting at poker? Yeah. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who noticed that? I notice. I pay attention to that because their animations change all the time, and I'm like, you look very nervous or sus at this part. Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy! Edgeworth. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you could do it. Huh? You just said you don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will, soon. Almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special! This probably just went right over Apollo's head. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. To be continued. We've never gotten a to be continued in the first case before. Heck yeah, we're saving. Oh wait, shit, I didn't want to... Oh. Wait, no, not from episode start. Oh, God damn it. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, cool. Court will now reconvene. Save time, yeah. Has our witness, Miss Olga, really covered?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear her version of the events again.
That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss O'Reilly take the stand. Excuse me. Very well, the witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser.
Not.
Oh my god.
Name's Olga O'Reilly. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quickfingers O'Reilly.
Oh. Oh, really?
Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like O'Reilly.
I feel like we got played here.
That's the truth. Hope you're satisfied.
No way! We got played. Called it. Yeah, you did. Called. We got played so hard. They memed us so hard, this game. Damn it, Capcom. Witness, you'll tell the court what you were really up to that night.
Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress.
So you were in cahoots with the victim?
Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles.
You missed the transformation? It was a thing, and it happened. It really happened, you could even say.
But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut.
You swapped the cards!
Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins.
A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
Oh really, oh really? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake. A mistake? I agree the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right!
He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quickfingers O'Reilly.
Oh, really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad, you hear me? Bad!
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. The best laid traps.
That night I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant.
You know she's bad, you know it. There's no time for singing. Uh-huh. Yep, alright, let's just... Yep, okay. A surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect! That rotten cheater hadn't messed it up.
How do you know he was actually cheating if you guys were the ones who were cheating? Look who's talking! Well, the testimony for what it's worth is all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her who needs criminals. And with defendants like Mr. Wright who needs prosecutors! Alright, she planted the card. This planted card. Which card was it exactly?
The trump card, the 5 of hearts.
Let me guess, Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend.
I slid it into Wright's pocket.
When was this?
Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we serve borscht and suckers.
Remind me never to go there.
Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken.
And he lost the last hand, and then Smith searched him. So everything went according to plan?
Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
There are worse things to be known as, I suppose. Tell us what happened with the search. Planted card was gone. The card disappeared?
Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone, without a trace. Poof, zippo. We searched every nook and cranny, even inside his cute little hat.
But the card was nowhere to be found, is this correct?
Never in my long, storied career. Never as quick-fingered or really been so readily duped.
Oh, really? So, what did happen to the 5 of hearts?
Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant?
So the 5 of hearts is still missing in action? And then Wright picked up the bottle. Wait, isn't that a little odd?
What's odd?
You searched Mr. Wright, thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim.
Well...
Ooh, what's this? What was that just now? I sensed something? Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Press harder. Miss O'Reilly, you're hiding something.
What are you talking about, you?
Scared the living shit out of you when you played? Fair.
And then me, Quick Fingers O'Reilly, something. The defense will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim? Is this true?
Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Mr. Wright hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it.
What's this weird vibe I'm getting? She touches the back of her hair when she's lying. Phoenix said that. And that witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? She's doing it right now! Touching her neck, was it? Ooh, we're hyper-focusing! Oh, what's going on? Oh, it's an eyeball! New mechanic, unlocked, guys. The sensation, it's coming into focus. There, that twitch, it's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before. Perceive. Gotcha? Gotcha? We gotta add a new follower emote later. Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself.
Unaware of what?
Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand.
My neck?
When they just go crazy or start to, now we can see that tell up close. Yep.
So what?
What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. We can add this to the special bubbles with not so fast. Yeah, we should.
A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us? Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about that moment of the crime. So what would remind her most of the moment of the crime? So really, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is this. Is it the necklace? Did he get strangled by the necklace? Or the locket? Is that the real murder weapon? That's the only thing I can think of. Alright, let's try it and see where this goes.
Sorry to disappoint, but I don't have any particular memories of that.
Nope, that must not have been it.
Of course not. You want a habit, Mr. Justice? I'll show you a habit.
I'd better get this sorted out before I develop a habit of my own. Save real fast, just in case we fuck up a lot. Overwrite, yes. Don't go back to the title screen. Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her the most of the moment of the crime? Alright. Believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is this. I mean, the only thing I have is the bottle. It's the only thing that I have as a weapon. Alright, well... Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon? But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain?
What's he talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit. Not you.
Sorry.
This
This is a cross-examination examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment.
Yet I am knowing nothing.
We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please, now.
Fine. He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got there.
I guess we'll just press everything as we go. How does she do that? I got no idea. You seem uneasy.
You try sitting up here.
Her eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like?
Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at that table until the cops came.
Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
What's that?
Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony. She didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. He called from his phone. Take that! Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. Eck! So explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Eek! Whoa, she dropped it all! You finally dropped the bowl.
The man who picked up a bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant.
Who was it? She took some selfies. Yeah, she did. Random spider just chilling in there. Showdown time. Dirty cheat. Check his pockets now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Ag!
Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from the next to right, and he hit me.
You, some master of cheating you turned out to be. Bam!
Eek! When I came to,
The victim was already dead. Is that it?
that's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure.
Well, where does this leave us?
Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming! It must have been me who was hit with a bottle and is imagining all this.
It appears our prosecution is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin? Sir? I believe that as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big fat liar.
What?
The three were in that room that night of the murder, the defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder.
What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me.
What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright? Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. Phoenix picked up some skill and metaphors from Godot here. Oh no. No! Phoenix, don't learn from him! You'll get a caffeine addiction. It's bad. Bad, man, I tell you. Single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. A 4th person.
This theory again. Your 4th person doesn't exist.
Phoenix already has his grape juice addiction. Yeah, yep. Apparently he turned into a big wino. Wino Hobo Phoenix. Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided to us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about? Sorry. Remember what I said. The 4th person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color on the backs of the cards. Right, but how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was?
It's not me, I swear!
My trusted mentor. Was he in cahoots to get rid of Phoenix? Was this why he was like, hey Gavin, I'm gonna come up to you to be my defense attorney to your firm, but hold on, I don't want you to be my lawyer. I want your newbie to be my lawyer, because I need to fucking nail you for killing somebody. This game just kinda... I think we went to 0 to 60 real fast. What the fuck? Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. Are we supposed to be insulted or complimented by that? Flattered. In fairness, Phoenix also had spiky hair. I was right? You're one to talk about sharp hair, Phoenix. Yeah. Christoph Gavin, you were the 4th person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards! How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which one of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. We're just Mr. Spiky over here knows game when he sees it, yeah. But look! You can see the colors in this photo! Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
Ah, competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. He did say blue flame. I was like, I know he said it, but I can't remember in what context. Well, Kristoff? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me. It was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff? You know, even I'd never take a joke this far.
This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb! This is insanity! The defendant is accusing his own defense attorney of murder?
I assure you I'm quite sane.
But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. That is objection! Yeah, that's exactly what Payne sounds like right there. That spelling, that's what he sounds like.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met!
Well, what if they have?
Huh?
There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started. What are you suggesting? Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. The defense would like to request no such thing. Hey, I'm the lead defense attorney on this one. I want more testimony. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must be related to the case. How could anything happening before that game of poker be related? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly... Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He's the defense, not you. Gotcha. Mr. Justice, this matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? Hear the testimony! This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. Too, Justice, you would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin, this isn't about loyalty, this is about the truth! Very well, the defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. Appetite before murder. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to the defense attorney, Gavin. Mr. Gavin, you were at the Borscht Bowl Club the night of the murder? I dine with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will, I'd become involved in a murder. Not the first time it's happened, Phoenix. Probably not the last. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong. You're surprised he's only been accused twice at this point? Yeah, I guess, huh? Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice. Sir! He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir? Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright? This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? His second stint as a defendant. He's not Maya. Oh yeah, Maya gets accused of murder a lot. Like, every game that would think that was. I was just like, girl, can you, like, chill for 1 second? Alright. He had dinner with Kristoff. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dines with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We were enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. Usual? I always eat at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So, the plates and such on the table were from your dinner?
Indeed. The remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left. After that. And then Shady Smith walks in. 5 minutes? So, the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time? That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure.
Ah, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Kristoff Gavin and Shady Smith may have met?
I believe I did say that.
Here, I was all nervous about this meeting, and now we hear they just passed in the hall.
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. Hell, it would be if that was really all that happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? Trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga O'Reilly mentioned?
The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut.
You swapped the cards!
Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Yes, harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it.
A quirk?
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted! Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card. Before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle.
An empty bottle of grape juice?
The murder weapon? Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. A card inside the murder weapon? That's strange. Wasn't it this, like, super-duper empty? It's definitely empty. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3, approves of this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information. I guess we should look at it more closely. Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Mr. Wright's favorite. He's a wino. Bottle's completely empty. It's very empty. It is extremely, very, very empty. Different bottle? Different bottle. Discover the trap during the game. Dispose of the card in the bottle. Why in the bottle? I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew it was coming. Ho-ho, so you struck first! I like that. I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't... Girl was knocked out cold, Smith was uncontrollable, so we called the police. You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout. Phoenix is really lucky, yeah. Was anyone else on the first floor at that time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. He was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. And when you returned, the victim was already... dead, yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. Little? He's bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that. Made another phone call to Defense Attorney Gavin. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten in a rather sticky affair, and I figured Kristoff's law offices would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Ah, glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved, after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him. Now. Yes, sir. You have to think, what's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with his testimony? The truth has to be in there somewhere. Discover the trap during the game. Dispose of the card in the bottle. But the bottle's empty. Ready? Objection! Mr. Wright, if I may? Yes? I've examined the bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No? What? Mr. Wright, surely... ... isn't all you have to say for yourself. Can't say I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however... Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out. Oh, and a sixth person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor.
I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing.
So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh! Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? Discover the trap during the game, split in the bottle. Left to call the police. What? Can I open this? No? Okay. Well, there's no blood on this, so... Wait, hold on. Blood was streaming from a cut on his forehead, but... Hat removed during the investigation, so how would he have seen it? Yeah. He shouldn't have been able to see the blood. Oh. Someone put the hat back on later. Okay. Objection! Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. You had to Google this part? Yeah, that was a little tricky. I was like, wait a minute. The blood? But there's no blood on the bottle. Wait, but how did he see the blood? The hat was on there before. I had to think real good. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice, next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put the hat on his head.
Ew!
You put the hat on a dead man's head? He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like in this photograph. And? Picked his hat up off the floor and I put it on his head.
What? Why'd you do a thing like that?
All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So really didn't see it? It being the victim's, his head? I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon? It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Did you have something to do with that? Seems to have a grudge against you. A little bit. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Huh? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. Reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china pot? Pate? Pat? I don't know. It wasn't you, was it? Me, please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate? The kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny, and not plate, but pat. Pate. Pate? Pate. Because he misheard it as plate, so it has to be pate. He turned out to be dead. Phoenix thought now. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Pate? I don't know. Pate is, how do I describe it? It's like a savory mousse, kind of. Spread. It's a spread. Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club? Most certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china pate? Oh, that's right. Yes, that was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright? Order! I will have order, Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor!
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, as the prosecutor,
Very well, we'll break for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well, this will be the final recess for the day. I can't believe we trusted this man! April 20th, 2:32 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? May I? Huh? What?
Hello, sir. Please pick a card.
What's all this about? Is this our new sidekick? Is this one okay?
Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it.
A trump card?
The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all.
Oh, hello! It's an ace! Where do I remember that card from? This is probably our missing 5th ace that got swapped before the dude died. And it's probably got his blood on it.
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces, and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. That was cheating, I swear to you.
The missing 5th ace! Wait, the splotch of red. Is this blood?
You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it.
Aw, that must be Phoenix's daughter. But she's pretty old, so questions arise. This blood-stained card is my trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl? I'd seen her recently, but where? The locket? That's when I made the connection. Bloody ace added to the court record. April 20th, 2:45 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 2. I want to look at the ace. Received from a mysterious girl. Received from a mysterious girl. Could this be the missing 5th ace? Yeah, that's probably blood. A single drop of blood marks the front of this card. And it's a red card, so it did belong there. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, Mr. The witness state his name and occupation.
Is this farce necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Oh, yeah, trust me, I know. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Up to and including exorcisms. Yep, very fair. A parrot has also been called to the stand. Yes, that is also true. There's some strange shit that's been happening in this courtroom. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it. Hey, Phoenix, what up? Are you taking the bench with me? It's so good! The music's so good! I love it, I love it. You love to hear it. This is so good. Alright. I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright! What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side, you know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for that one time. That one time? Being the instant he was hit! Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to be at the scene of the crime. At the time of the crime! In other words, you'd have to be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Dream team. Mr. Gavin? I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
What?
Oh, I assure you I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid, in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night?
That fateful night.
The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Bullshit. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the times, and so I left. And that's when the call came from Wright.
So, you witnessed the murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. We need a character with a speech bubble. Bullshit? Yeah, we do. Liar! What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness's stand, after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you need to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity, right, Apollo? Can I get a map of this place? I feel like this window probably doesn't go to the stairway, but I don't really know. Oh. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Rage troubled him, so he came back. That man? You mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers, his aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that.
So, then you knew the true nature of your client's job?
Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends, after all. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. I see. What happened then? I went to the basement and peeked through the little window. The little window... You mean the one used to keep watch up the stairs? Oh, okay, it's back there. Okay. Alright, so this is the layout. Alright, so he was towards the back end. Okay. I'm like, can I just get a copy of this map? Because I couldn't figure out where the window was. Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far everything he's saying makes sense. It's been right after the murder took place. How do you know it was right after the murder? Really? No need to shout, Justice. I was just getting to that part in my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West we know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. Friends like these, who needs enemies? Victim was dead. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat.
Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
Bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Do I get a transcript of this? No, no transcript of the conversation. Fine, be that way. Okay. Yes, as far as I saw at least.
And we're back to where we started. Killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime.
Justice, I said I saw no one, not a soul.
But that goes against what Mr. Wright said.
Ah, yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question, then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hands? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? What if the blood on the card is not the victim's blood, but it's his blood? Maybe he cut himself on the bottle when it broke. It probably broke! Oh, it probably broke! The bottle probably broke. When you smack someone real hard, you know? Oh, but they didn't say anything about broken glass at the scene. I don't know, I got questions. How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. 5th ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? Show evidence. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace? Because there's blood on it. I don't know if this is technically usable in the court of law because I got it from a really weird random source, but alright, we're gonna do this. My reason is, this.
Is that an ace?
Why, it's got blood on it! Right next to the spade! What? Oh, look at him twitch. He's very displeased about this.
This is insane! Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing 5th ace?
Maybe.
Inconceivable! How could you? What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl! Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club that night after the murder occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock in trade, after all. No! Impossible! Unacceptable! The court can't accept this as evidence. It's fraud! Fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason?
Reason for?
For the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. Oh. It is smudged, weirdly so. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down to the back of his head. Could a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood, but why would he do that? That's kind of weird. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see. This is baseless conjecture! Baseless! Yeah, you point that finger, Phoenix! We have an entire prosecution office to talk about that? Yeah, maybe. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really. How a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. This game's cool. How am I playing it? I'm playing this off of BlueStacks. So it's basically a... It's like a mobile phone simulator, so that it's actually streamable. Because I don't have a way to hook up my DS to my computer so I can stream it. So we're doing it off BlueStacks. By the way, welcome back, Hex Speedruns. Hope you're having a great weekend. Phoenix is right and based. Yes, he is. Haven't been able to take his point animation seriously since you saw the Ace Idiot video. Oh no. Phoenix's pointing is a thing. It's very much a thing. And we'll just leave it at that. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Alright, alright. Whoa! That's some cool 3D shit we're doing now. What do we do? Whoa, neat. Alright. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And before the killer swapped a card out, it was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, Apollo thinks in 3D, yeah, it's so cool! I love it. There is one decisive problem with the scene. Well, what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? Victim, killer, witness. Oh yeah, the ace was supposed to be on this side. This particular ace would have been over here. The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Oh, yeah, witness 2. I was like, what? Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card? Yeah, the victim, because the victim should be here. Because that's the side that had this particular ace. Well, isn't it that the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You'd think any blood would fall behind the body and not onto the table in front of him. Ah! Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards. Why, that's right. So, what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh, man. Paulo, try turning the chair around. Recreate the crime scene. Okay. Like that. The chair was facing the other way? We got fancy here, guys. It would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. Quite the flex, yep. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around? Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We now know the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But then why the hell would he do that? This is like nothing here, unless that is something. Oh, there's your cabinets. With stuff in them. Supposedly. But this creates another significant contradiction.
Again?
This is quite the flex of the DS's power. Yeah, wouldn't it be? Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the facts of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witness? Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim was facing away? Well, now the killer, because how's the killer gonna come at him that way? The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think would be quite hard, yes.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense! Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game?
I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light.
What?
There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Paulo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking on the diagram? What? But... There's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Oh, don't worry. Let's think it through and see what we find out. Payne's still here? Yeah, he's still... Yeah, we just kind of forgot about him. He's just a side note. A footnote in this case. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? In the cabinet? The killer had to be standing, well, here.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
I thought I was onto something there, too.
Hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard.
Hold up. Black market room? Probably a secret tunnel behind that cupboard. That's just the way shit works in these little shady rooms. There's always an escape plan. Why would you have a peek out for the window and then have, like, that be in the only direction where you would, you know, like, need to escape from? There's probably another way out of this fucking room.
Are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha!
It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime... Wait! I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there! What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Ooh, he got all quiet. Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor. What? There's one more thing your men should look out for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime... You really like Hobo Phoenix? I too am starting to really enjoy Hobo Wino Phoenix. And this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Oh, it means you can't see from the little hidey hole window. So Gavin could not have been there. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been as shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my! He's so chill, but he always the smartest man in the room. Yeah, this man's been through some shit and learned some things. I kind of want to know how many years it's been. They said 7 years. Something happened 7 years ago, so it's been at least 7 years. What's this? What is it now? Oh, look at the diagram at the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh, dang! Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Yo, Hobo Wino Phoenix sounds way too smart to be OG Phoenix. He sounds way too smart, guys! Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator in this thing is wrong? Contradiction. You can't see shit from over there! About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs! Ah! That's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin! What? What did you say? Oh, it's the coolest defense in the West, losing his cool. Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. Well, you see, Justice, I have X-ray vision. Yep! So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court, exactly where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor! Order! This is a court of law, and I will have order! The reveal to the truth BGM grew on you very well. It is quite good, I have to say. We just now received word from our investigative team at the Bourse Bull Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh? And what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there's a secret passage behind it! Who's surprised? Not me. I'm not surprised. I logicked that one out in my own damn head. You love all the truth themes? This one and Trials and Tribulations are great. Yes, I will agree with you. The music is so good. What? Ah, yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room that many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that now that he mentions it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-ons. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. And enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. See where a line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something!
Dare I ask what really happened that night?
Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with Destiny. There he crouched hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Ah! Eek! What? Why'd you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. Miss Olga O'Reilly was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look and... After the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red. Oof.
Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
He hasn't blown up in a crazy mode yet. I don't think we're done. Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne?
Eek! Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion.
Ah!
Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin.
He hasn't had a proper breakdown yet, right? Something ain't right here.
But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
There he is. Objection! Knew it was coming. Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin. Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick.
Excuse me?
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney.
Illegal evidence?
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints, am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes, the fingerprints on the bottle were, upside down.
I can figure that one out. Not this photo. This one. They're all next to him as he's playing piano, so like, how the fuck do you guys pick up bottles when they're in a crate at your feet? You would pick it up upside down. That's how that works. That's the easiest way from where he's sitting right now. I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court, and this case, demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down. Phoenix just made it levitate into his hand. Sure he did. And that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor. See how the codfish squirms to the last? Well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that. Yeah. Just like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to... Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there. In plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? He's testing you. He's being a true mentor to you to make you do all the damn work, so that you will know how to stand on your own. Fly, little birdie, fly.
It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions, indeed. Well, Mr. Justice?
Mr. Gavin said that the court and this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done.
Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court? What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down?
Roop, here you go. It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair.
Excuse me? On the floor?
Yes, now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair.
Ha!
See, you naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Oh, what is this clip? I'll look at it later.
Wow, I can't believe it was that simple.
Call our dinner that evening, Kristoff. I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. And you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon.
Order! 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 What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle? Where's your proof?
Proof? Well, that's,
As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Ah, yes, I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question.
What, are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if any were on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake, true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo? Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humor me. Mr. Wright!
That bottle will solve this case once and for all.
What? That's some bottle.
It's got the card in it. It's got the card in it.
It's got the card in it! Hell yeah! There's something inside the bottle.
Five of hearts. Ooh, is this your card?
What's this?
That card. It can't be. Recall the unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment.
Miss Olga O'Reilly?
Yes, our little swindling... shit. Devochka? I don't know Russian, I'm sorry.
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed.
Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony?
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the Five of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I'd been drinking right beside me. Threw the card inside the bottle.
The Five of Hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped, and the only one who could have done that was the fourth person in the club that night.
You, Mr. Kristoff Gavin! Break down. Break down! Do it! Oh my god, he made the fucking lobster and bowls levitate! What the fuck? That's some rage. The rage gave him telekinesis. We're in trouble, guys.
He's Magneto, run!
Wait, but those things aren't magnets. It's a fucking lobster in a bowl. Earthbender? Yeah, Earthbender, I believe a little more.
Well, it still doesn't help the lobster, though. That is all.
Wait, he's Sith? Oh no. Avatar.
Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright?
Revenge?
Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago.
I knew it! You had something to do with that, you prick.
My past is like my logic. Straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right?
This is insane! What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
No, shut up, Payne. I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. Payne is unforgettable because he's forgettable. Yeah, that's very true. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. An odd profession to be sure. And that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright?
Yes?
7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch.
Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. That smirk, he's like thinking, I'm pretty sure Gavin did something and fucked him up and took away his badge.
He was extremely talented, to be sure.
I needed 2 things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, defense attorney. You, Apollo.
Me?
A dark time is coming for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own court system. Uh-oh. We have to set it right.
Mr. Wright!
Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it.
Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright,
not guilty! Woo! We did it, guys! We saved Feeney. Hell yeah!
Court is adjourned.
April 20th, 4:28 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby. Number 3. Case 1 of 4 done. Oh, only 4 cases in this one? Not bad, not bad. I'm sure they're gonna get longer and longer. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability.
Ability?
Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment of the defendant hit the victim. Is this true?
Of course it is.
What's this weird vibe I'm getting?
What was that, Mr. Wright?
You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself.
The answer? Right. Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin.
What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come.
Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you?
This locket is the key.
Huh?
Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket.
Your daughter, right?
That's right. She's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket.
Huh?
I took this off his neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him.
Wait, but that's perjury! You testified. You said that locket was yours.
I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth.
Wait, but then, why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with the picture of your daughter inside it?
Ooh, questions! Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo. Yes? How about coming to work for me? Huh? You mean at the Wright and Company law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial? And at the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Dude, what the fuck happened? I got questions. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was the forged evidence. It was the card, wasn't it? Because why would the daughter have it? Wouldn't the killer have taken it? You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us. This court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud. Who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then you really... Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? That smirk. I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut? Try yelling, "Take that!" next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. You had a good time. Ken does that a lot. He yells, "Take that!" Oh, I didn't think about that. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. Can't believe they made a Street Fighter reference. Save? Hell yes. Overwrite. Turnabout Corner, episode 2. Alright. Apollo Justice takes you for a fucking ride. It's really good. I'm excited. But I think this is a good place to stop for the night because otherwise we're probably going to end up on some cliffhanger with the way that this shit always goes, you know? So
I see Neo Neko is still playing Borderlands. I think let's go raid him. And then we'll start episode 2 next week. And, have a good time. It'll be fun. Alright, so let's start. Let me put in the raid command here. Alright. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you had fun. You don't have to stick around and watch if you don't want to, but just drop in, spam some emails if you want to be, or just say hi or something. I would appreciate that. You don't have to follow him or anything if you don't want to, but yeah. Hope you guys all had fun. It doesn't have third case syndrome. Anyone who's played this game? Okay. Yeah. Thanks for everyone for watching. Hope you had fun. I'm super excited about this game. It is already off to a banger start with some great music and some great plot that leaves me with a lot of questions. I'm really enjoying Hobo Wino Phoenix, so that's something that we'll have to make some progress on and see more of next week. So thanks again, everyone. Next stream should be on Monday for Final Fantasy Night. Other than that, have a great rest of your weekend. I'll catch you guys all later. Bye!
Recorder. I've developed a relationship with it. Some cycles I sleep with it, and others I make it stay outside of my tent. My waning ability to discern logic from insanity is becoming cumbersome.
Recognition.
I've been translating Eridan writings. In between arguing with the recorder, you went off for a few hours during my last sleep cycle. I heard you speak out. If I were to pontificate, I would infer that the Eridan writings show a class-based society that was quite capable of both leadership
Why am I being raided?